In today's episode, we go back to 1999.
Catch up with a friend that I've not seen in nearly 2 decades.
Reliving Chan nostalgia from the college years.
Dig out the old Nokia bounce down the stairs jobbies with the Haribo ringtone.
Exploring UK vintage merch.
Wow, this is incredible. Not what I imagined.
I'm surprised I still got some air on my Swede.
Exploring books, tapes, internet printouts.
You stick around.
And much, much more.
My name's Paul, and I'm a really, really big Jackie Chan fan. Hello, welcome back for another episode of Chan in the Attic. Today's episode, the college years. I'm going to be going back in time to 1999 when I was at college, and I'm going to catch up with one of my old mates I've not seen in easily 23 plus years. We're going to have a discussion reflecting back on our nostalgia for Jackie Chan whilst we were at college and more. Cheers, guys.
Also, you might want to stick around to the very end of the episode as we're going to announce the special winner of the Shaolin Wooden Men poster from the previous episode.
Hello, how are we doing? Welcome back again for another episode of Chan in the Attic. And today we're going to go back in time. We're going to go back to 1999 to 2001. I'm here with one of my old friends from college who I've not seen for probably over 2 decades. How are you doing, Chris? You all right,
I'm good. Yeah, how are you?
Good to be great, mate. Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you here, mate. And am I right in thinking it has been at least
Probably.
nearly 20 years, if not
We've bumped into each
more?
other occasionally, but yeah, I think properly seeing each other and having a chat certainly about Jackie Chan films, it's been probably about a couple of decades.
Most definitely. I can remember.
Starting to feel it now.
I remember that actually in that time since leaving college, so we were in college between 1999 and 2001.
Yeah.
After we left college, we kind of lost contact with each other. I mean, we've always been sort of friends on Facebook and social media wise, but we kind of lost that frequent contact that we had.
Yeah.
I remember some years had passed and I was out doing a bit of shopping and I bumped into you in a shopping centre, and I think that was probably the first, maybe another occasion, but no more than two occasions I would say that we've had any contact in the last few decades.
No. Yeah.
And you're absolutely right in saying it wasn't time to talk about Jackie Chan in their moments.
Yeah.
But Jackie Chan was such a fundamental part of our college years, and we're going to explain a little bit about how Jackie Chan come to interfere with our college years.
Yeah.
So back in 1999, Chris, can you remember how we first met?
I think we first met looking around the college, looking at the courses, what courses we were doing. We're looking at media production, and I think you were there with your mum and I was there with my mum. We were just looking around college and I was like, this guy seems like he'd be a nice, cool guy to talk to. And then meeting on the first day, I think, when we started, and we were on the same course in the same class. So yeah, it was great.
That's kind of how I remember it. We kind of met each other really early on, and like from straight away from first class, we were just like, that was where that connection, and that stayed in place for the next 2 years. We were literally,
we're the only ones left.
We're the only ones left after 2 years. Yeah, that's right. And Chris just made a good point. What we were studying then was media production.
Yeah.
So I don't know what your kind of, when we left school, I kind of thought, I want to be an actor.
Yeah.
And I didn't quite have the bottle to go to like drama school and stuff. And I thought, well, media production's a good route to take. I just basically wanted to be Jackie Chan.
I didn't know what I wanted to do. It was just, I was looking at media because I loved film, and film's always been my number one passion.
And that's how that's how you ended up there.
Yeah.
With the media studies things, obviously we were, at that time, 1999, it was a very different way of media production than what we are now in 2025.
Yeah.
And I know certainly some of my memories are all them editing days and making videos and booking out cameras. It was all VHS tapes. So that was all good fun.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
So the killer question, Jackie Chan. Now,
Yeah.
when did Jackie Chan first become sort of apparent to you? When did you know who Jackie Chan was?
Probably September 1999. I don't know. I must have seen Rush Hour by that point, but maybe not. And that was probably the first exposure.
Yeah, it's interesting because when we started college, obviously we were definitely fresh off the back of the Rush Hour success.
Yeah.
Rush Hour was released theatrically in the UK in 1998, I believe. And it wasn't until... I guess it depends whether you saw Rush Hour at the cinema, because from my understanding, then when it came out on VHS tape, and we went to college in that transition time where it was still VHS, but it was the dying days of VHS tapes for us sort of UK fans and collectors, and we were making that transition into DVD in and around sort of 1999.
Yeah.
In fact, some of the earliest DVDs that I've got, one of my earliest Jackie Chan DVDs is, I think it's May 1999.
I can tell you what the first DVD I got was.
What was it?
It's Matrix.
The Matrix.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. And that was
Yeah.
yeah.
A video store.
Yeah.
A certain name.
Oh, right, yeah.
Branded name.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah. So you think you might have seen Rush Hour going into this,
Yeah.
and then we obviously been probably speaking about it at college
Yeah.
and bits and bobs. But do you remember what your first Jackie Chan film was that you might have seen?
I don't know. I have no idea what
Nice.
it would have been. I can remember certain ones watching them. Obviously, knowing you, Police Story probably
Was it early on?
was an early on one. But yeah, no, I can't. Maybe Rumble in the Bronx might have been one of my first ones. First Strike, maybe. Yeah, maybe those two.
Yeah, that's
remember.
interesting because you said like when we first met, and if I was to introduce somebody at that point in 1999 to Jackie Chan, I mean, Police Story's always been a go-to one for me.
Yeah.
I think as long as I've, even when I was much younger and at school and introducing to mates, it was always that Police Story tape was going everywhere with me. So I don't imagine much changed between then and 1999.
No.
So yeah, it would have been Police Story, most
Mr.
definitely.
Nice Guy. Mr. Nice Guy.
Yeah, and I think from a Western perspective at that point, Jackie Chan was really big. He was become a real household name across the nation.
Yeah.
And films, as you mentioned, Rumble in the Bronx doing big business. Rumble, Rumble in the Bronx. So that was a really big hit in the UK. And then that was followed up quite swiftly with the likes of Jackie Chan's First Strike, Mr. Nice Guy.
Yeah.
Did we go to the cinema together to watch
We
it?
went to see Rush Hour 2 at the cinema.
We did, didn't
Yeah.
we? Yeah. What
Yeah,
about Shanghai
certainly.
Noon?
I don't know.
I definitely went with someone to see Shanghai Noon.
I have
can't
all my
remember if it
cinema
was-
tickets.
Well, there you go.
So
you have to see what
I'd
you
have
can
to
find,
look,
mate.
but I've got all my cinema tickets since 1996
Oh, crikey.
when I went to see Mission Impossible, the first Mission Impossible. And
Yeah.
yeah, I've got all of them up until 2019,
Yeah.
and then I stopped collecting then. But yeah,
You mean you didn't see Goonies at the cinema?
I have seen it at the cinema.
Retrospective.
yeah, I've seen it. I think I've seen it twice in one weekend at the cinema
Brilliant.
as well. If you don't know, I'm a big Goonies fan.
Big
so,
Goonies
yeah.
fan. Now, Chris, he'll tell us a little bit more in a minute, but you're a big kind of, what would be the best way to describe your movie interest? Sort of cult 80s film?
Yeah, I'd say the stuff I grew up with, all the Goonies being the big influence on me, and yeah, anything 80s, Back to the Future. Trying to think of my top. Jurassic Park's a big one. Love Jurassic Park though. Yeah, 90s as well. But yeah, those big Hollywood Spielberg-esque films were a big influence
Jaws.
for me. Jaws, great,
Ghostbusters.
obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, tick.
Jaws is one of those ones I always think of you as well, because I knew you were a fan of Jaws. So.
I am a secret Jaws fan. Well, not really a secret. Maybe there'll be a Jaws appreciation group one day. But yeah, Jaws is an absolute classic.
Yeah.
Jaws, Jaws 2, Jaws 3, 3D, and Jaws of Revenge. To be honest, I like them all.
Yeah.
Even though it obviously loses that quality as time goes on, but they are classic bits of cinema
Yeah.
for sure.
They are good. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. If you can remember then, like with Jackie Chan, when I've just first, can you remember what your first sort of thoughts were when you've seen this Chinese kung fu fighting man? What
I
was
think
your...
it was just the action scenes were incredible.
Yeah.
It's like the choreography, the comedic timing as well, I'd say as well with him, that it isn't like a straight-laced fighting. It is a comedic softness to it that is fun and probably more family friendly than
Yeah, of course.
martial arts films that I'd probably been exposed to growing up and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that was it really.
Yeah.
1999 was a massive turning point for Jackie Chan, and you could really feel the momentum building. After years of dominating Hong Kong cinema with his wild stunts and creative fight scenes, Jackie was suddenly breaking into global mainstream fame. But for me, the story actually started a long time ago. And in fact, just a year prior, in 1998, the year I almost met Jackie. He was appearing at London's Planet Hollywood for a fan club meet and greet, autographs, photos, the dream, the full shebang. And just my luck, my parents insisted that I went to school instead. I've never quite recovered from that missed opportunity. So while other fans were meeting their hero face to face, I spent the evening at home, sulking, but glued to the TV, recording Jackie's interview on TFI Friday with Chris Evans like it was a sacred treasure. Then came 1999, and everything changed. Rush Hour had blown up, making Jackie a household name in the West. He was gearing up for Shanghai Noon, experimenting with new roles in films like Gorgeous, and suddenly the whole world was paying attention. His stunt team was pushing harder than ever, and Jackie was juggling Hollywood, Hong Kong, and a fan base that was exploding overnight. So in 1999, Jackie stood on the edge of a new era, transforming from cult hero to global icon. And for fans like me, still holding on to them VHS recordings from the year before, it felt like we were watching history unfold in real time.
I'm going to have to ask, mate. I can see down the side of your leg. He snuck in some biscuits for this because he knows I like my green tea and stuff, and he's bought. I can see a packet of ginger nut biscuits.
Yeah,
What's all about, mate.
So yeah, got some ginger nut biscuits, and as I was coming here, I popped into the shops, and it reminded me of a story from our college years. We went to Disneyland as a college trip. Weird place to go when you're like 17. But I get motion sickness, and my mum had brought me ginger biscuits because it helps with motion sickness. But the thing was, we went on Eurotunnel, so I didn't go on like the sea, and that's the trigger for me. So going in the tunnel, I was fine. But I just remember just that week we were away, just eating ginger biscuits the whole time.
Brilliant.
I can't remember us eating anything else apart from these packets of ginger biscuits.
I must admit, I'm having flashback to ginger biscuits. The classic biscuit.
Yeah. So yeah, I just saw them and I'm like, yeah, I've got to bring the ginger biscuits.
Now, talking of Disneyland, Paris, I can remember a certain roller disco. Is that right? On the last night, there was a roller disco?
I remember that bit. I can remember us being chased around the park at one point by some teenagers.
Oh, really?
When we were out on Space Mountain. But
I don't remember that bit.
We had to go and hide in the castle or something like that. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Remember that.
It's amazing what you forget over time.
Yeah.
Like how, you can hold on to certain memories and other things you just don't remember.
Yeah.
I mean, when you've arrived, you've mentioned a few things like, I can't remember that at all. Like you mentioned the ginger nuts, putting them in someone's mouth when they're asleep.
Taking Polaroid photos.
Taking a Polaroid, yeah. Classic photo. Brilliant.
So, yeah, no, there's little stories that come back, don't they? Of like, oh yeah, that happened, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny with memory.
Definitely.
You need that little trigger just to twerk it.
Bring it back.
Yeah, bring it back.
Well, talking of memories and talking back to 1999, can you, have you got any memories of how how my kind of, I guess, interest in Jackie Chan kind of bled into our media studies work that we were doing and production bits and coursework and projects? I
think I also had I was a huge Arnie fan. So those action films from the 80s as well, I remember I would sit there editing, like we'd edit videos together you would do Jackie Chan videos and I'd do Arnie videos, and I remember us doing a crossover of both of them, but it made it look like they were fighting each other, but didn't happen until recently. So in recent years, we had that dream. And recently it has come true.
There you go.
So I think that. But then when we were making our little projects for college. We had to make dramas and stuff. We'd just put in fight scenes, and it didn't really make sense from what I can remember for the story, but in a very basic plot. But yeah, we'd just put in fight scenes.
That's it.
All the time.
Booking out the cameras.
Yeah, booking out
going
these
on-
massive cameras that you had to have on your shoulder.
They were huge.
Yeah,
They were
massive
heavy.
tripods, not like the tripods we have here.
Yeah.
Just these huge things that you just had to lug around.
Yeah, it was a full workout.
Yeah.
And it was always, I remember it always being on bad conditions. Whenever we'd done a filming day, it might be outside or somewhere on the college ground. It was always windy and rainy. You had all the elements to fight against whilst trying to lug this big, hefty equipment up.
And trying to film in the corridors where people were walking to class and stuff.
I've got memories of having like headlock scenes or rolling around on the ground, spin kicks, and people will be coming through to the lunch hall. It was testing, very testing. Filming on location without permits. College grounds.
Yeah, it was great fun those years of doing that type of silliness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you mentioned about what you said about the editing of you were editing like your Arnold Schwarzenegger tapes. I'd bring in my Jackie Chan tapes, and we'd literally, I feel like we were kind of spending our lunch break in the editing suite, because we'd have dedicated lessons and you'd do some editing in some of them actual lessons. You could book yourself in and use the editing suite, and it was all linear, wasn't it then? VHS tapes.
Yeah,
like
so
little cubicles you sat in, all in rows going around the edge of the classroom.
Yeah, and those, as I was mentioned earlier, those things the edit suites we used were the ones they used on EastEnders in the 80s, from what I can remember.
Crikey,
So
wow.
they were that old. Well, this was the late 90s, but yeah, they were that old that you just VHS in one, record it onto the other.
That's right.
Tape to tape.
Very fiddly.
Yeah.
Very fiddly. Lots of cogs and
Yeah.
buttons that were,
Yeah.
I remember.
Oh, you had to twirl, didn't
That's
you?
right.
So-
Yeah, you had twirl, and there was lots to learn.
Yeah.
There was lots to learn. But I think that's kind of why I enjoy editing now.
Yeah.
Because I kind of, when I started doing this channel, I always said to myself, I don't have any experience. I'm winging this. I'm blagging it as I go along. And I kind of like discounted that actually we did do media studies for a couple of years, and so much of it is actually sort of coming to sort of fruition now. And I'm using some of them tools that
And you learn new skills, don't you, as you go along? Because I've done my own YouTube stuff and made films and stuff like that. So you just learn things as you go along and adapt and try and work things out of how do I film this? How do I do that?
Yeah.
And it comes flooding back of the stuff we did of editing and filming. And the editing is it's the vision. So you have that vision, and editing, you can find your vision, and I think that's the fun part of it. Filming is fun, like this is fun, but the editing is...
It's personal, isn't it, editing?
Yeah.
It's a real journey of the creator, because that's when your flair and your vision can come out. So it's quite a personal experience.
Yeah.
But you're right, editing is good fun. It's good fun. And we're going to talk about it because you just mentioned it about your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So that's Melbourne Picture House.
Picture House. So during lockdown, about 5 years ago, I did a series of like short films just to keep myself entertained, where I'd just film myself playing out my favourite films. So I did Jurassic Park, I did Uncle Buck, as we mentioned earlier.
Edward Scissorhands on a bush.
Edward Scissorhands. And I'd make the costumes, play all the parts, all sorts of things. I did a total of about 40 like short films, usually about a minute to 3 minutes. Lord of the Rings, I did that. The whole like filming out in public is a fun thing to do. But just trying to work things out of how to do lighting, how to camera angles, and things like that, using green screen without a green screen, and projector screens instead, and things like that, of buying costumes like Superman costumes and things like that, like a trunk full of random stuff at home. Just costumes.
It's great. It was such a good throwback as well, because I used to look forward to seeing them and like did you do a Home Alone one as well?
Yeah, I
you
did
do
Home Alone.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I think
Brilliant.
that was one of my Christmas ones. I did a few Christmas ones.
Yeah. I have got one complaint though, mate.
What?
I've got one complaint.
Oh,
I keep looking and there's never any Jackie Chan
Oh
stuff.
no!
I was waiting for a fight scene in your flat. It was very good.
Yeah, it was good. Good fun during those times of keeping myself entertained.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And when you said about the editing and the editing suites, and you were on about, we did that, you were doing Schwarzenegger stuff, I was doing my Jackie Chan tapes. And I thought, I actually remember there was a project we'd done, and we had to make like a movie trailer. And we pretended a film that didn't exist. And we made it up by splicing together scenes from Arnold Schwarzenegger, from Jackie Chan. I even remember, because I had the tape for a while, and we had to create the design for the cover of the movie as well.
Yeah.
And we ended up, I think, calling it Crackerjack.
Okay.
Because there was a trailer, and we, off of a video, the film was called Crackerjack. I've never seen it. It was on a rental tape. And we just thought that would be a good name for a film. So we said, the film's going to be called Crackerjack. We made up a synopsis for the back of the case. It was starring Jackie Chan and Arnold Schwarzenegger, which obviously didn't exist. And we were using clips from, I can't remember exactly what Schwarzenegger film. Might have been Commando, or I'm feeling it might have been True Lies.
Yes, it was Commando. It was the bit where he hangs that person over the cliff.
That's it.
Yeah, it was that bit.
Yeah. And the yellow sports car, was that in it?
Mends itself.
Yeah. And for Jackie Chan, we used scenes from Crime Story.
Yeah.
I think he was playing a policeman in this made-up film, and we used the title card from the trailer of this movie, Crackerjack, and edited together this like 3-minute movie trailer for a film coming soon that didn't exist. But crazy what you do.
If we had known that.
If only we had known.
Like 20 years later.
Yeah, the Iron Mask was going to come out, and you'd have it. A Russian production.
Yeah.
Absolute crazy.
We're ahead of our time on that one.
I think we definitely were. So yeah, I mean, back in that time, as I've mentioned before, Jackie Chan was a huge part in my life. Has been ever since I was young, growing up. I mean, when I was at school, there was limited people that I kind of could speak to about Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
Because we're going back into sort of the mid-90s. It was a bit more of a niche. I remember the first time people really knew about Jackie Chan when I was at school was when, I don't know if you remember the Jonathan Ross film show, The Incredibly Strange film show.
Yeah.
Now, a Jackie Chan episode first aired, I think around November time, 1989. It did have reruns, so it was replayed again as years have gone on throughout different stages of sort of Channel 4 seasons. But that was the first time kind of Western homes on sort of a broadcasted television had got a chance to see something about Jackie Chan. So that kind of lifted his profile a little bit, and people were kind of getting into, Jackie Chan movies. And of course, from a VHS perspective, rental shops, big at that time, X-Rentals, we had like Transglobal, VPD, Eastern Heroes, Made in Hong Kong, all coming to fruition in the mid-90s, sort of 1994 onwards for them, up until, 2000. So when I was coming to college, Rumble in the Bronx had already been a massive hit and was released internationally. So Rumble in the Bronx was a good... And I think when we mentioned about I Probably Showed You Police Story, I probably would have said Rumble in the Bronx in around that time, because that was a good film, a safe film to show, just somebody that watches, I would say, just normal films, more than a niched film.
More of a Western taste for films.
Western taste for films. Rumble in the Bronx was quite a milestone point of showing somebody, well, check out this guy, Jackie Chan. It's a good, powerful, modern-day Jackie Chan action. Brilliant stunts, great fight scenes. Yeah. So it's kind of and it's also an introduction into dubbing. What was your thoughts on dubbing when you first heard a dubbed film?
I wasn't that keen on it back then, probably. I probably preferred the subtitling. I'm okay with it now, but I think I preferred the subtitles of watching it subtitled.
Because most people, it's the other way around. They're like, when they first come into like a foreign movie, in its original language, they find it quite hard to adjust to watching a subtitled movie. But you've mentioned subtitles, so had you seen like other countries' films, other foreign films, or was it because Crouching Tiger?
Crouching Tiger came at that point. I remember,
college.
I think we went to the cinema to see that.
Probably.
I certainly saw it in the cinema, so I probably would have seen it with you. I think some exposure, probably at college, of some of the stuff we were watching that are subtitled, but I probably hadn't seen that many subtitled films at that point. Because, again, I'd probably have grown up watching American films a lot of the time, or some British films, but mainly American films. So it was an early exposure to watching subtitled or dubbed films.
For For Jackie Chan fans in the 1990s, the journey began with paper. The very first spark came in 1989 when the unofficial UK Jackie Chan fan club launched, courtesy of Ricky Baker at Tempo House. Simple newsletters and fanzines that quietly united fans long before the internet ever did. Cut to the early 1990s and suddenly the landscape was growing. Eastern Heroes, Martial Arts Illustrated, Impact and Combat magazines filled the shelves. Each packed with interviews, behind-the-scenes shots, film rumours and those iconic covers that practically jumped out at you. Then came the books. Titles like I Am Jackie Chan, My Life in Action, along with Hong Kong photo books and stunt guides, offered a deeper look into Jackie's world, perfect for spreading out on the floor next to a nice stack of rewound VHS tapes. And of course, the big milestone, the official Jackie Chan fan club and its polished, full-colour publication, Screen Power. For UK fans, Screen Power felt like the closest thing to a direct line to Jackie himself. I would spend entire evenings on the sofa, tapes lined up neatly at my feet, reading every page meticulously. I even wrote into the magazine regularly, sharing thoughts, sending questions, and swapping details with other fans in the pen pal sections. That's how you built a fandom back then. One letter, one issue, and one VHS tape at a time. These books and magazines didn't just inform us, they shaped the entire Jackie Chan experience throughout the 90s.
So since college, obviously a little bit of time has passed.
Yeah.
When we left college, films like Rush Hour 2 had just come out.
Yeah.
2001. Accidental Spy was another new Jackie
I
film.
remember going to get that one from Chinatown, one of our trips.
Yes.
Got it on VCD. Yeah,
that's
I
right.
bought it there.
Have you still got it?
No.
Ah.
Got rid of it years ago, I expect.
Did
But yeah. You've got a copy of it there, and I remember it reminded me of I went and bought it on VCD from Chinatown. One of our trips where I'd go and get Chinese all you can eat as well.
All you can eat buffet, £5, fill your tummy.
Yep.
And in and out the shops. I talk about it a lot because going to Chinatown is a big part of being a fan of Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
It was like a monthly thing I'd do. Whenever I got paid on a Saturday job, I'd get a train down. And I used to love it, just going through all them shops, picking out videotapes at that point, and DVDs because we just started that transition. But yeah, and VCDs.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah. I used to love, I think it was my first time ever to Chinatown when I went with you. I can remember going really early in the morning, we would get there. The shops are just opening, I expect now, but it's changed a bit.
It has
but I do
changed a
occasionally still go there and get my all you can eat if I'm in London for something. So
it has changed a lot. I mean, from a collector's standpoint,
Yeah.
I can't no longer go to Chinatown and pick up Jackie Chan stuff. I mean,
Yeah, it
you
wasn't
wouldn't
the shop,
even
you know,
find
the
even
shops.
for Blu-rays. It just
Yeah.
isn't that sort of place anymore. Unfortunately,
No.
all the places that used to sell your tapes, DVDs, Blu-rays, and VCDs, they're all like hair salons now and restaurants. It's just restaurants and hair salon.
Yeah, it was on that main thoroughfare. There was that.
That's it.
There were shops along there, and I often walked past one of them and was like, "Yeah, we went in there," and that's probably where I bought Accidental Spy and stuff like that. So yeah.
Brilliant. Absolute classics. So since that time, what sort of, do you still dip into contact with some Jackie films when they come out? What's your most
certainly
recent kind
Iron
of watches?
Mask I'd seen.
Iron
which you
Mask.
mentioned earlier. The Foreigner. I loved that one. That was
Big
a great
thumbs
one.
up for the Foreigner classic.
Then Bleeding Steel.
Oh, right,
Seen that one. Watched a little bit of that this morning.
Oh,
just to get my wet the palate. And what was the other one? Vanguard, wasn't it?
Vanguard.
Yeah, Vanguard. Yeah, I bought that one on DVD. When
Thoughts
that
on
came out.
Vanguard?
Yeah, I liked it.
You did like it?
I did like it. And then I lent it to my dad, and he watched it and enjoyed it as well. So
that's good.
I enjoyed that
That's
one.
nice to hear because for I guess that casual fan versus hardcore Jackie Chan fan, Vanguard is often not one of the highly rated movies of Chan's, more moderns.
Yeah.
Does get a bit of criticism within like the fandom thing, but that's good to know that from a more outside perspective, you actually quite enjoyed it. What was
Yeah.
it that you liked about it? If you not that I'm saying there isn't
remember
anything
now.
to like, but what was it that you did
It was
like
a few
about
years
it?
ago I watched it, but
It was
I just
around
didn't-
lockdown
Yeah.
time, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and I enjoyed like the storyline, and it was quite a fun action film.
Oh, good.
So yeah, I think. But then yeah, I've revisited a few as well since your YouTube channel started. So
Oh, cool.
I dipped
That's-
back in watching Mr. Nice Guy and stuff like that, and I was like, oh yeah, get back into it. And Police Story, found a copy on DVD in a charity shop, and I was like, I've got to get it.
Oh, wicked.
So yeah,
oh, I think
dipped back into it.
Hong Kong
Yeah.
Legends one maybe.
Yeah. I think I messaged you when
I think you
got
did.
it. I was like, Look what I got.
I was like,
I'm gonna
yeah,
watch it tonight.
that's what I want. That's good. Yeah. Still getting
So
good.
yeah, and yeah,
What I am interested to ask, mate, is
Yeah.
because when I put out the last episode, which was about Shaolin Wooden Men,
yeah.
you sent me a message saying,
Mm.
"Oh, I've just watched your video. I'm going to be watching like Shaolin Wooden Men tonight or something." So
Yeah.
tell me about that, because that's a really different film for somebody that's not necessarily a sort of like
No.
niche kung fu
Yeah.
film fan. What did you think when you watched Shaolin
Yeah,
Wooden
it
Men for
reminded
the first
me
time?
of like films that inspired it, like thinking back to like Kill Bill Volume 2,
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino's film of like, oh, you can see the influence here.
Oh right. Okay.
And films like Enter the Dragon, the Bruce Lee film. That,
yeah.
those films that I was like, oh yes, I can see where the influence comes in
But later
more
on.
modern Western cinema. That I could see it, so I enjoyed it. It was fun. And the fight where he fights the wooden men is an interesting thing. Clearly, guys dressed in wooden outfits. But
What are
yeah,
you talking about? They're wooden men, mate. There's no outfits going on. These are bits of mahogany.
I'm giving away
There's no outfits there, mate. What's he chatting about?
I'm giving away
This
the
is real wood.
behind the movie.
This is the wooden.
So yeah, though.
And
Yeah, it
Jackie's
was
character
interesting.
doesn't speak because he's a mute in it,
No,
so there's
yeah.
no real talking right to the
Yeah.
final bell.
And yeah, it was interesting. Like the scene where he goes up the steps
Yeah.
carrying the water. I've seen that in other films since that have copied it. But yeah, it was
right,
fun
yeah.
going back and seeing an earlier one. Though I'd seen like Drunken Master
I
and
was
stuff like
just about
that
to say,
back
I think,
in the day. But,
yeah, I think back in them college
Yeah.
days, I definitely like showed you Drunken
Yeah.
Master, Snake in
but it was
Evil
interesting
Shadow. and-
watching an earlier one that wasn't as well known as
Yeah.
the ones that I'd watched and got on
Exactly.
video.
Yeah, and
So-
it's good to know because again, for somebody that's not into particularly kung fu films of that era to then watch a film like that, and you
Yeah.
know, that's good to hear, mate. I'm pleased. And you watched the whole lot.
Yeah, watched
Oh,
it.
good. Yeah. Well, there's more to come then.
there's more to
I've got some
come.
more recommendations. for you.
Okay.
I'm going to arm him up. He's going to have coats and pockets full of Jackie Chan Lo Wei. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So you're keeping at it.
Yeah, keep
Dipping
it up. I like occasionally just watching films. Well, I still watch films, but yeah, dipping in, finding earlier ones that I haven't seen before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when we were at college, I mean, Rumble in the Bronx, again, at that point, I'm just trying to think. Now, I think it was out on tape by then, because it was in the shops, wasn't it, on South Through? It had been on rental. But I was still very much playing my original uncut versions, and I probably showed you in the editing suite, I'd bring in my Malaysian tapes of Rumble in the Bronx.
Yeah.
So it would have subtitles and Drunken Master 2, which Drunken Master 2 obviously wasn't released at that point in terms of a UK store. So it was always interesting playing off them kind of original theatrical versions against the censored cut, kind of mainstream edits, the Hollywood versions of them. So it's kind of nice.
I can remember those coming out as well on DVD and stuff like that, coming into the shops, and you getting them probably when we were in town.
It's
Our
exactly.
Price Records or something like that.
Yeah. We used
Or
to,
Blockbusters.
me and Chris, on our lunch breaks from college, we would walk into town
Yeah.
and we would go straight to the local video stores. And as we said, it was going into DVD. It was a kind of still a big split. Tapes were still very much the main thing. Even if you went into a HMV or an MVC, it would still be 95% tapes, small section of DVDs working their way in. I mean, from a Jackie perspective, my first Jackie Chan DVD first DVD I owned was Jackie Chan's First Strike, which was released in May, I believe, 1999. So just before we started college.
Yeah.
And then shortly behind that came Mr. Nice Guy, I think in July time, and Rush Hour, August maybe, 99. and they were my first 3 Jackie Chan movies on DVD. I remember. I mean, what's your thoughts on DVD when it transitioned from tape?
Loved it. I remember. I think it was at that time, like you had a DVD player and I didn't have one, and I remember going in and getting my first DVD player, and then buying my first films on DVD. But yeah, I loved the transition and building up my collection.
Yeah.
Though my collection, I also had VHS, like shelves in my bedroom of VHS. So it was a mixture, like the Jackie Chan my small Jackie Chan collection was a mixture of VHS that we got from in town, in a little video store in town. And yeah, a few DVDs as they came out, and VCDs as mentioned. Who I Am, I certainly got on DVD.
Who Am I?
Who Am I? Who I Am. I said that earlier, didn't I? And Gorgeous,
version.
I got on DVD as well.
Oh yes, because Gorgeous was again a big film of Jackie's that came out after Rush Hour.
Yeah.
So I was straight on that.
Yeah, so those ones I can remember getting on DVD in the early days.
Yeah.
UK VHS tapes from 1999 to 2001. The late 90s were a busy time for Chan tape collectors in the UK, seeing many of his titles re-released on sell-through distribution labels across the nation in stores like HMV, MVC, Virgin Megastore. Eastern Heroes had been in operation as a video outlet since the early part of the mid-90s, having already released many of Chan titles. Made in Hong Kong also made their mark in 1994 when they released Jackie Chan's Snake and Eagle Shadow and Drunken Master. And Hong Kong Classics had previously released Island on Fire, Crime Story and Police Story 3 Super Cop. 1999 saw the following re-releases. Winners and Sinners was re-released after its VPD initial release. Hong Kong Classics released an English dub and also for the very first time ever in the UK officially a widescreen Cantonese print. Then came My Lucky Stars. Now, this might just be me, but when I think back, I'm pretty sure the English dub one I had was in a black box, which differentiated the difference of the sleeves. Has anyone else seen that? A black box, My Lucky Stars? Or was that just me? Did I dream it? Also providing us fans with the Cantonese version with the English subs. Nice. Then came Twinkle Twinkle. Again, first time to have a Cantonese print, widescreen, English subs, the export dub in the yellow and red case. Nice additions to come back into the market following the VPD days. Wheels on Mills. Again, we had a red cover and a black cover. That's how we'd know the difference between the dub and the English sub version. Now for Heart of Dragon, they really gave us a treat. Not one, not two, but three. We got the English dub, we got the Cantonese widescreen, and then they released a third tape, which was sold on the basis that it included 2 previously uncut fight scenes as an extra feature. Dragons Forever, a little bit disappointed if I'm honest with the difference of cases on these. Could have done a little colour tweak just to spice it up a bit. But again, with the Cantonese version in the English subs, it was the first time we see Jackie Chan give that boot to the head. Project S. Now come on, you can't be taking my first strike title. I would have think I preferred it if they would have called the English dub one Once a Cop, but really good to have Project S make its debut on a UK tape. Just to confuse the nation a little bit more, when it came out on DVD, they decided to call Project S Super Cop, because in the UK, Super Cop was given its official title, Police Story 3 Super Cop. Nice one. Following the huge success to My Story a few years prior, I was really pleased to see Hong Kong Classics churn out Jackie Chan My Stunts in the nationwide video stores. What an absolute classic of a doc. Made in Hong Kong, they'd been busy behind the scenes releasing numerous Hong Kong cinema titles, but after their 1994 hits of Snake and Eagle Shadow and Drunken Master, they started to re-release some further Jackie titles, Project A and Project A Part 2. Cantonese, English subs. Then we got Police Story, re-released, English dub. So we're quite fortunate to get a widescreen version of the Kevin Bacon export cut. And then Armour of God. Again, first time in the UK to have it Cantonese language, English subs and uncut. What a gem. We were then moments away from the transition from VHS to DVD, where Hong Kong Legends started to launch and Eastern Heroes Jackie Chan titles for the first time on digital video disc.
Right, in keeping with a Chan in the Attic episode, we've got down a box of gear from the Attic.
Wow.
We're going to go through it and see if any of this brings back any memories for you,
it'd
Chris.
be
from
like
back
Christmas, won't it?
It'd be like Christmas back in the day. Right, the first thing I'm going to show you, this was off of my bedroom wall from 1999.
Wow.
Now, this is a poster of Jackie on the set of Police Story 3 Super Cop. Now, I got this in London, Chinatown.
Yeah.
One of the DVD video shops. Well, videos back then when I got this one. But I always loved that one. Good shot of Jackie,
Yeah, it's
hard
good.
at work, on the old film camera, behind the scenes. Brilliant shot in Malaysia. So that's a good one. It's even got the blue tack still on the back. the other part of the blue tack's probably still on the bedroom wall.
Yeah.
But that's a classic poster. It's a nice one to keep. It's like laminated. It's a good one. When we started college,
Yeah.
for me, there was a lot of instrumental Jackie Chan documentaries doing the rounds,
Okay.
which were, you know, for fans, kind of peak Chan documentaries. And again, when I would like show friends Jackie Chan films, I'd probably like show a documentary. Like if I lent people tapes, I'd say, well, watch this documentary as well.
Yeah.
And some of the standout ones at that point were Jackie Chan from Stuntman to Superstar, which is this VHS tape. I don't know if you've seen that one before on our travels.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
It was a History Channel documentary. Now, whilst 1999, this was still being advertised quite a lot in magazines and stuff, and to put your coupon in and purchase it, it was available in stores. It actually got released a little bit earlier than 99.
Yeah.
I think it could have been at any point from 1997 onwards. But this, I remember going into, I think I got mine from WH Smith's. WH Smith stores, went in. Nice little surprise. Wasn't expecting to see this on the shelf. Got that with the old Werther's originals. And I must have, I hammered this tape. This was a great documentary to have because there wasn't, from like a UK video store, you couldn't really go out and buy Jackie Chan docs.
No.
Any documentaries I had were stuff that were taped off telly, like the Jonathan Ross thing and interviews and bits and bobs. So it was nice to get a documentary on tape. Other ones were Jackie Chan, My Story and My Stunts. Now these I definitely would have shown probably bits of in the editing suites
I
for
remember
behind the
watching
scenes
those,
of like
yeah,
My
certainly.
Stunts. Do you remember Laserdiscs, mate?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Remember Laserdiscs?
Yeah.
Discs.
Laserdiscs. Laserdiscs. Do you remember Laserdiscs, mate?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I do remember.
Did you have any Laserdiscs?
No,
No.
no.
You never played them
Yeah.
before?
No, I didn't even have a player. So
Yeah.
I
So that's
remember.
the documentaries on Laserdisc. That's the Megastar releases. My Story and My Stunts.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I remember certainly My Story. I remember watching at some point.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. Great documentaries. Now, in the late 90s, Jackie was obviously becoming a big household name. And at that point, he was on literally absolutely everything. TV commercials. He was appearing on TV for press interviews and lots of stuff. Music videos, MTV, you name it. Because did you know that Jackie Chan had a singing career as well?
I think I did. Yeah, I did.
Was-
I knew certainly some of the films I watched back then. You saying, "Oh, he's singing the theme tune as well." So it was like, "Oh, right, okay." So yeah, I was aware of it back then.
Yeah.
Of his music career as well.
And one of the soundtracks when I started college that I was absolutely hammering was the Drunken Master 2 original soundtrack.
Yeah.
Now I got this in Chinatown, but it might have been, I don't know if I was with you at the time, it might have
Maybe,
been
don't know.
on a solo trip before then. But this is the original, this is what I call the working copy disc.
Yeah.
As you can see, it's got a little bit of damage to it. It's not in mint condition. It's lost all of its, it had like a slip around the edge of it.
Oh yeah.
And a booklet to come with it. Yeah, and I cut it all up and started putting it on my wall. I got quite excited about having some Drunken Master 2 images, so started putting them on the bedroom wall at the time. I've since replaced this and got a brand new version with all of the slip. That's the mint one. That just goes up in the attic, but this is the working copy.
Yeah.
So if I want to give this a little bit of a ride or an outing, the working copy disc comes out. But that, I had that on loop all the time. Good little
Cool.
CD. And obviously at that period, we started to get soundtracks in stores. So Rumble in the Bronx and First Strike had their own motion picture soundtracks.
Yeah. I certainly remember that one. Well, those two, really.
Yeah, Def Jam's Rush Hour CD, and then you got the Rush Hour 2 soundtrack.
Yep.
So they were classic ones in the high street at that point. We mentioned about trips to London, Chinatown. Is that the one that rings a bell for you, mate?
Yeah, so this is the one I think I mentioned earlier of having a copy of this Accidental Spy. Yeah, I remember buying this from Chinatown when I was with you and watching it for the first time and really enjoying. Yeah, there's that scene where he, the umbrellas, isn't it?
Oh, he jumps from the thing on the umbrellas.
The umbrellas.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So, yeah, I remember that scene from it.
Yeah, great
Certainly.
stunt.
But
The
yeah,
umbrella jump. Yeah, good times. Now, here's a little bit of a throwback. Did you ever have a PlayStation?
no.
We've got some clippings here. I think this is actually from... Oh, this is from Total PlayStation magazine.
Okay.
Because I loved my clippings back in the day. I still love them. Anything Jackie, I'd tear it out of magazines, books, and that'll be coming into the old archives. So you've got about Jackie Chan Stuntmaster.
Yeah.
It's quite nice because you've got some behind-the-scenes bits that shows Jackie all rigged up in his suit, doing all of his moves, with all his cables coming off of him, and it was like monitoring his movement to get the motion and stuff right.
Wow.
Fans simply want to witness what Chan does best, duff people up. And this is just what the game promises to deliver.
I don't
Mind you,
think I was ever aware of this.
you missed
No.
this.
Yeah. I
What
missed
a
that, I
treat.
think.
To be honest though, they didn't rate it here. They gave it a 40% review.
Oh.
They don't know what they're on about. One player, I was absolutely buzzing when this came out. I mean, the graphics for then, little Thomas Cook bit and all that. And the gameplay was so lifelike. Oh, brilliant. And
Yeah,
here
you
is
have it.
the actual game.
Wow.
Jackie Chan, Stuntmaster, PlayStation.
Yeah, I don't think I can remember.
It's
Seeing
quite a
it,
rare
yeah.
one now
Okay.
to find. It can fetch quite high on
Wow.
auctions and stuff, but that's
Wow. Very cool. Yeah, I've never been much of a gamer, but that's probably why I wouldn't have been aware of it. So,
yeah.
But yeah, it's cool to know that they exist, that they had a Jackie Chan game as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a few games. This isn't Jackie Chan related, but it is Bruce Lee. Unfortunately, I couldn't find Jackie Chan ones at the time, but then going back then, bounce down the stairs, Nokias.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was it? A Nokia
3210, I
a
think. is it?
3210.
Yeah.
Snake and the Haribo theme tune, ringtone.
Yeah.
They're the ones.
Where you could create your own ringtones.
That's it.
You had to put a code in.
Classic. Well, I've still got my Bruce Lee one. If anyone needs a replacement case,
Yeah,
got it. That was from Chinatown as well, I think.
probably.
Yep. Right. We mentioned about Jackie Chan's music.
Yeah.
Super Cop. So released over here at the time actually as Police Story 3 Super Cop, which is the original title. But during the mid to late 90s, Super Cop was released in America, and they had redubbed it and called it Super Cop and removed the Police Story 3 name. It came out after Rumble, and we released the soundtrack for it, which is interesting because you could get the Super Cop soundtrack in this country, but you couldn't buy Super Cop the film. So there was the Super Cop soundtrack, and then the single to that was Warren G, What's Love Got to Do With It? Another little classic
Yeah.
from back in the day. This came out when I was at school though.
Yeah.
So I remember walking around the estate with my old earplugs in, banging out Warren G, Jackie Chan music video. Excellent. My story, my stunts. Again, back then these were on import VCD, so nice to have at that time.
Yeah.
A Rumble in the Bronx. This is a what's the word I'm looking for? Time code. A time code tape.
Wow.
So that
What-
promo X rental. So do you know what a time code tape is?
No.
It was the tapes that went to a rental units in to rent it out.
Yeah.
But a time code, it's called a time code because in the top right corner, you had the timer running all the
Right.
way embossed
Yeah.
through the film. So they're like early samples. So you've got Rumble in the Bronx, preview copy,
Okay.
not for sale or rental. Even the age certificate was to be confirmed.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
now, what is interesting about this one is that because the age certificate hadn't been confirmed at this point, it does actually have the bottle scene from Rumble in the Bronx, which was cut over
Okay.
here. It was censored right down. But this is the, sorry, I can't speak, this is the longer bottle scene in the film. The film's obviously still cut and the New Line edit, but it has got a slightly longer bottle scene than what we would get when it did actually come out on video officially.
Cool.
But that's a cool, nice little collector's piece to have.
Yeah. there's other films that advertised on here that I'm like, oh, I remember those from back in the day as well.
Yeah. And just some good old throwbacks. You know, we can say what we want about the Hollywood phase for Jackie Chan, and some of us fans say that, you know, oh, it got maybe a bit too commercialised then, etc. But there's something about these big boxes which are just absolutely classic bits of cinema.
I think I had all three of these on VHS at one point.
Did you? Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that Rumble in the Bronx, still to this day, I was so buzzing when this came out. And I'd seen it already before it came out in the UK on the good old Malaysian tape, which was the uncut one, which I would have brought into college, etc. But when Rumble in the Bronx first got released theatrically in the UK, the first images we were seeing of a poster were the, you know, like quad posters in the cinema, was a fist going through the word Rumble in the Bronx, Jackie Chan. Didn't reveal what he looked like. It was just a fist. And it wasn't until the film was actually released and out in rental stores that we got this kind of cover being shown. And I loved it. I loved all that sort of build-up hype. Really good. So this would have been one that I recommended to you, or let you watch
it
back at the time. Yeah, because
I probably bought my own copy of it.
That is classic.
Back in the day.
Yeah. Now, we can't be here, I guess, talking about college days, Jackie Chan, and not mention this tape, which would have been every shop we went to for many years. I think I found Rush Hour in every shop. Every shop. And even to this day, in places like CEX, there's Rush Hour DVDs coming out your armpits. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
They are. This film was huge, and you couldn't go in a tape store.
I have to say, I rewatched the whole trilogy earlier this year, so
did you?
Yeah, I got back into them and just watched over a few days. But yeah, it was good reminiscing over those old school Jackie Chans.
I like Rush Hour 2, I think, is my favourite for fights.
Yeah.
I do like it for the fight scenes predominantly. Rush Hour 1, probably my favourite for a film out of the three of them. And whilst we were at college, Jackie Chan, Who Am I was released in the UK after Rush Hour. So you got the big box X rental followed by the sell through. Again, they put it out. It was made just before Rush Hour in real time. Yeah. But in the UK, we released it after Rush Hour, after the success of Rush Hour, it came out. So that was quite cool. Again, would have been one at college.
Yeah.
Would have spoke about a lot and shown clips
off. I
off.
bought it on DVD back in the day. So I certainly had a copy of it.
And before that, it was my good old Malaysian tape, along with the Universe Laser VCDs and bits and bobs from Hong Kong. But yeah.
I remember you having this.
Yeah, and bringing that in.
Yeah.
Definitely. So after we went through the rental stage of Rush Hours and bits and bobs, they started to release some back catalogue things, which is when Twin Dragons came out.
Yeah.
So that would have been one that was released whilst we were at college, I believe, around that time. Redubbed, rescored, etc. And this little oddity. Are you familiar with this one, Chris?
I remember
Tell me what you know about that.
I can remember Jackie Chan's in it for maybe a couple of scenes, is he? But yeah, I remember it's like a big ensemble, isn't it, of loads of random people, like Sylvester Stallone, Whoopi Goldberg, Jackie Chan, Eric Idle. So yeah, I remember it being.
It's an odd film. We can say it's a really odd film.
Can't remember at all what happens.
It's an odd film, but you know, you get to see Jackie Chan in a gi. Wow. No die, no die, no die. So
yeah, certainly remember you having this.
I had to get it. I have to say, it was probably the most painful buy because I spent probably about £20 on the X rental bin for that. It was a begrudging £20 because it is an odd film, but you know, it's got needs must. It's got to be in the collection.
Yeah.
So there you go. Gorgeous. Now we spoke about Gorgeous after Rush Hour. Big one in our college years because again the videotape would be out along with the DVD. So we've got the rental and the small sell through.
Yeah.
But that's what you'll remember.
Yeah, I certainly remember having a copy of this one on DVD. Yeah.
This one was my ex rental from Blockbuster, which probably would have been near to our college. Oh look, there we go. That's when I bought it. The 6th of the 11th, 2000.
Wow. Yeah.
You would have been with
probably
me.
would have been with
we would
you.
have
I
gone
probably
down
bought
into
a coffee
town.
as well.
Yeah, we would have gone down because it was the inside Blockbusters
Yeah.
next to
Yeah.
the Boots.
Yeah.
And I used to go there, like, whenever there was a Chan film, I'd go there every week after they were released just to make sure they hadn't slipped it in the old ex-rental bin.
Yeah.
So that I could...
That's why I bought The Matrix as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you could get an X rental.
Yeah.
But they had new ones as well, I think. didn't
Quality.
they?
Yeah, $14.99 that was for that ex-rental
Wow.
in 2000. But before that, before we got that, again, I had my Malaysian and Taiwanese VHS tape.
Wow.
Now, these are a bit of a rarity. Hard to find these ones.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't recognise these ones.
No, you won't recognise these bad boys.
Mhm.
They're certainly not in HMV.
No.
But yeah, classic. Great stuff. As we were still on the tapes, I still had a big collection of recordable tapes. So Jackie Chan stuff used to be like a season on Channel 4 late at night, and I'd tape them on my blank tapes and write out the films on it. Yeah, you got Young Master, Project A 2, Police Story 3, Super Cop. And that's the recordings off of TV. Because at that point, Jackie Chan was on loads of television interviews. So I have a box down here. So Jackie Chan was on The Big Breakfast Show.
Yeah.
I've got a little clip in of when he was interviewed on The Big Breakfast. And in here is, you can probably see, there's loads, well, say loads, there's a handful of recordable tapes. I've still got all of my tapes up in the attic from shows that I recorded off television. You've got Kung Fu 7 Hours Night, BBC 1997, done a really big Kung Fu evening. That's the full 7 hours on long play on there. 1999 MTV Movie Awards. Now that's Jackie Chan presenting it in his Shanghai Noon clothes, I believe, on that one. Yeah, various TV appearances. TFI Friday with Chris Evans, the Electric Circus interview, like a mini extreme close-up First Strike doc. Loads of good things on there. So even now, 2025, I still chuck these on the old tape player and give these a watch.
Wow.
I would be heartbroken if anything happened to these tapes.
Yeah.
These tapes are... And this is what I say about all of this gear, right? You know, with collecting and stuff, I could easily go... Well, not easily, but I could go on eBay.
Yeah.
And I could... If I had money, you could chuck money at buying most of this stuff. And if you dedicate your time to it, quite quickly you'd have quite an extensive collection. But nothing replaces the actual original feelings of some of this stuff.
Yeah.
But this is nostalgia. This is true. This is stuff that's been acquired as them emotions and as them eras have passed. You know, they're original pieces of time of collecting. So they have such a good story behind them. You just can't replicate that when you just press
you
buy
can't at all, can you?
to try and, you know, to have it. But having it's one thing, but meaning
Yeah.
how it meant is another. So strong significance of all of that. Shanghai Noon, film that came out by, is it Buena Vista? Is that who they're called? Is that the film
sounds about right. Yeah.
I think that's it. So this was on a Malaysian VHS that I picked up very early before, imported in prior to its UK cinema release.
I can remember you getting that.
Yeah,
Certainly.
yeah. And that would have been one for our editing suite room
Yeah.
to have a little preview at. Loved that film. Accidental Spy, we've mentioned about. Again, this is a original Taiwanese tape. So the uncut. A bit like the VCD and stuff. So when I was at school, I started to put together like scrapbooks for Jackie Chan stuff and folders where I just would keep clip-ins, drawings, printouts, anything a little bit miscellaneous. I'd put stuff in. These started when I was at school, but they carried on for many years, me using. So when I went to college, any Jackie Chan cutouts and things, I'd put them in these folders. But you can see this one, because at the time it wasn't just Jackie Chan. Once Jackie Chan had made it in the West, we started to get, didn't we, like Jet Li and Lethal Weapon 4, Chow Yun-Fat, Replacement Killers, The Corruptor, Crouching Tiger. A lot of Hong Kong stars were starting to make a bit of a name and appearing in the video shops. And my folder represents that. Got a bit of Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, Jet, Chow Yun-Fat, some cutouts from Rumble in the Bronx.
Yeah.
But I just keep like clip-ins and stuff
I can remember seeing this folder.
You can?
Yeah, that takes me back. Yeah. Remember you having this in your collection
Yeah,
back in the day?
I definitely would have probably brought it into college when I was printing stuff off. Because when I was at college, one of the biggest things I looked forward to the most was at lunchtime going to the library. Because back then I didn't have a computer at home.
No.
And I think it's important to say that phones had only just really come about. So for myself, I didn't have my first mobile phone till I was at college. I didn't have a phone at school.
Here.
So we were new to mobile phones, and the phones were basic, so it wasn't internet.
Just texting.
That was it. Green calculator screen.
Yeah.
And that was about it. And actually, in fact, you couldn't fit much in a message.
No.
I had a Motorola Flip to start with.
And it cost like 30p to send a message.
Yeah, it cost about 30p. And you couldn't even send a full sentence.
Yeah.
Full stop, no more space.
You abbreviate like U to the letter U.
Yeah, and that's
like
where I think that's a good point. Maybe that's where abbreviations started because you didn't have the space in the message to send.
And it's pre-emoji, so you couldn't send an emoji to...
No, you couldn't.
Yeah.
You couldn't. And you had to have a really good signal to get a response back. I remember it having like green and red flashing lights when it had signal.
Oh, wow.
Access to internet in a library really excited me back then because it's the first time it had that. It was like a door open to the world of like Jackie Chan stuff because I was kind of before my research was limited to any books that had been published, like magazines like Impact, Martial Arts Illustrated, Combat, Eastern Heroes magazines. Beyond that, you didn't have any idea what was going on.
No.
So when we got that first green light to be able to use internet, I was like straight on there, my lunch break stuff. And all of the cutouts I got from that and printouts I kept in this folder. And these were some stuff from back then. Oh, a little drawing. You appreciate your drawing?
Yeah, I do. That's pretty cool.
A Rumble in the Bronx.
In class.
Yeah, probably
like
in crayon. Yeah. No Fear, No Stuntman. But again, just keep loads of clippings. And this, do you remember the Lads Mag FHM?
Yes.
The Him magazine?
Yep.
Jackie Chan appeared in FHM. And this is a brilliant article from then.
Wow.
Without doubt, the most fearless stuntman ever to grace our screens, Jackie Chan is a huge star in the East and now prepares to conquer the West. That was brilliant. Yeah. Well, that was September 2000 issue that was from.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, I'll just give you a quick flick through. I'll show you guys in a little bit more detail in a minute, but just so you can see, Chris, the sort of stuff that was in here.
Yeah.
You can just see, you've got loads of...
Around the world in 80 days.
You know the Blockbusters magazines in the store? They do the monthly magazines.
That.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So these were taken from their reviews, like critic reviews of Rumble in the Bronx.
Yeah.
They used to give it like the fist sign ratings and all of that stuff. Again, for First Strike, that was out of Total Film, actually, that one was.
I remember that one. I remember that article, I think.
Chan, look, this is interesting. Chan will be making action movies until he is 50. Chan will be making action movies until he is 71.
I think we're close to 50.
we're closer to 50 now than... Crikey, that's crazy, isn't it? And it's weird because when I was watching these films back then, and like Chan was like, I think he just turned early 40s in Rush Hour. Like, I think he was about 42, 43 in Rush Hour off the top of my head. Maybe a little bit older. To me, I thought he was well old then. Like, because even he said like this, this isn't, I'm a dinosaur now, he was saying in the movies, so I've been making them for decades already. But it's like, and now we're older than Jackie Chan was in like Rush Hour. It's just like, where did that time go? Yeah. But, this was from the Blockbuster magazine as well.
Yeah.
When Rumble in the Bronx could come out, you could rent it from January the 20th. Again, for First Strike, the little clip-ins. But if I just go past it. Now this is all college internet printouts.
Yeah. Oh, I remember you printing this stuff out. Yeah.
I'd be back and forward to that printer desk.
Yeah. Yeah, wow. It really does take me
Rumble
back.
in the Bronx story, just like the internet page layouts and stuff.
Yeah.
This was state of the art back then.
Fan sites that you could just make up and just
stick
in a picture.
Yeah, they were just fan sites.
Now, also included in my my little scrapbooks and my folders, I would keep a list. It's like an inventory of pretty much every single VHS tape I had at the time of my collection, and I would document it and list it on paper And I would write obviously what version, what cut it was, whether it was English language, Mandarin, Cantonese, subs, no subs. And yeah, it was like a catalogue, literally. And when I would write to magazines and pen pals, you'd I remember it was quite a thing at the time, and you'd write back and people would say, well, which movies you got? Could we do any trades, any swaps? And you'd send each other a list, like a catalogue inventory of all your stuff. And yeah, some brilliant sort of swaps and sorts of new films that way. But as you can see, this is just some of the pages, miscellaneous pages that I've got in my folder at the moment of some of the collection, and that's going back a long time ago. Scrapbook stuff, also something I used to like to do, cut out bits out of old clippings, make my own captions on it, just proper Jackie Chan geek, wasn't I? I look through some of the clippings from the internet days. As I said, when you go on that college library, and I used to go and literally just search Jackie Chan on the internet. It was a new toy, and just finding stuff, and even articles and stuff where he'd appeared in American magazines and bits and bobs, and just you found some good stuff online. And I would print it off, stick it in folders. Yeah, anything you could get at a time. Some brilliant press stuff and promo stuff. Jackie Chan doing a Canon interview thing there. Some pictures of him in a karate gi and a black belt. Looking up Sam Seed pictures. Yeah, and even you'd start to get the old rumour mill. So back then, again, you didn't have your Facebooks or anything like that. I remember seeing this on one trip. Jackie Chan is dead. Look at that article. 14th of April 1997. Around mid-afternoon on the 10th of April 1997, a rumour started to surface in Hong Kong that Jackie Chan was killed while filming his next release, Who Am I, in South Africa. Bombarded by media requests, Golden Harvest immediately called Willie Chan, Jackie's former manager and good friend, who was also with Chan in Johannesburg making the film. Naturally, it was just a rumour. The rumour died when Jackie called the newspaper the next day to say hello. Well, there you go. Look at that. That's a source that was, bit of fake news that Jackie Chan was dead. And again, behind the scenes stuff on films. Jackie Chan injured whilst filming Mr. Nice Guy in Australia. Some details about that incident on the 15th of June 1996. So these are quite good things to keep. I like having all this sort of stuff archived. When I could find out about Jackie as a student, and some of his other former Pekin opera school buddies, you get all the information about them. Again, difficult at the time to get. You were limited to some books that may, detail who they all were. Jackie Chan's action team. Again, articles about Jackie Chan and his stunt team. This is a good one. Got loads of pages in it. It's really comprehensive. It lists all of the Jackie Chan stunt members up until that date in 1999. That's a really good read. And again, as I mentioned, just seeing Jackie Chan interviews that have never been sort of republished since. I've not seen them in books, in magazines, but in them early days of the internet, you would find some quite good articles. This one you've got, God is Too Good to Me, an interview with Jackie Chan. Some official UK Jackie Chan website prints. So again, when the Jackie Chan fan club was running, the official UK one, there was actually a website page, and you've got some good photos of Jackie Chan meets in there. Articles about Jackie Chan, my stunts. And just like you get on the internet these days, you'd always get Bruce Lee versus Muhammad Ali. What would it be if Jackie Chan fought Bruce Lee? Who would win? Well, even in 1999, when the internet was still fresh, it was already kicking off. Jackie Chan versus Jet Li, and plenty of statements about who would win in a fight between them two. Latest events. This is good. Literally the sort of thing you'd find in an international fan club thing, where it would walk you through the months of the year, dates, tell you sort of significant things that Jackie's been to. Really good again for keeping a sort of record of them things, trying to pinpoint when some stuff occurred over the years that may have not been documented. Always good to go back over. Again, another good old interview with Jackie Chan, I Find My Own Way. A Jackie Chan interview in relation to Rumble in the Bronx. 18 years of humiliation in the US. Another good Jackie Chan article. Yeah, this is a good one. This was on the set for Shanghai Noon in Calgary in Canada. Jackie Chan from the fan club in Australia from 1999 in April shows Jackie Chan in Calgary for Shanghai Noon. So some rare images and some good information. Now, I wanted to show you this little international rent-a-car original invoice receipt. Probably think this is a little bit random. What's this got to do with Jackie Chan? But have a look at this. This is a rent-a-car from Las Vegas. It's from the airport. Las Vegas Boulevard, South Las Vegas, Nevada. International rent-a-car. So it's an invoice for it. 10:41 hours in the morning on the 3rd of February 2001. Now, the only reason I'm showing you this was in 2001 at this time, Jackie Chan was filming Rush Hour 2. Years ago, I purchased this invoice from somebody a long time ago. And the reason for the purchase was because the person that actually hired this car at LA Airport very randomly and completely spontaneously happened to bump into Jackie at LA Airport whilst he had been filming Rush Hour 2. And the only thing he had to hand to get the man's autograph was what was in his pocket, his rental car receipt. So Jackie kindly signed the back of his rental car receipt. So if you flip it over, look at that. You see that? And there you go. Love, Jackie Chan, 2001. Now, of course, do I 100% know that this is legit? Well, of course not. I wasn't there. I didn't see it happen. But from the account I was given at the time of the purchase a long time ago, it was all very consistent with the time frames of Jackie's timeline for production at that time, and also just the circumstances around this document being signed. So all in all, I'm really chuffed with this. This has been a great autograph to keep in the old collection, and a significant one too. Happy days.
There he is. Wow, this is incredible. Not what I imagined, having seen bits in the other YouTube videos. A lot more than I expected. Wow. Doing it till you're 50.
Right, most of you will know that at the end of the last episode, we done a little prize to win the Shaolin Wooden Men poster by 79 Design, Tim Hollandsworth. Thanks to everyone that entered the competition. I think I had, possibly, I have to count in a second, over 10 people with positive replies. I don't know, was it a little bit too easy? Because I was shocked, because everybody that entered gave the right answer. So, how did you all know? Whilst you're absolutely right, the answer to the question was Yun Biao doing the shoulder blade maneuver for Chan. That is right. But I'm flabbergasted how you all got it right when it's not documented or talked about. Good on ya. You're proper hardcore, you lot. The lucky people that are going to be entered into the little dip bowl, and we got Chris Jackie Chan here who's going to pick you all a lucky winner. I'm going to read out who's going to be in it. Apologies now if I pronounce your name wrong, because these are obviously YouTube handles, and also I don't know how some names are pronounced, so apologies in advance if I don't say it right. So first into the old glass bowl is at Grant Nicolau 7216. Now Grant, I know you, mate. Well done. You got it right. Answer Yun Biao. You're going into the old the glass jar of goodness. Well done, Grant. Fingers crossed for you all, mate. Right, next in there is at MindIn82. MindIn82. Thank you very much for watching the videos, mate. I've seen you've commented on there. Really appreciate it. You're one of the lucky ones, mate. You're going to go in. Let's stick you in there. At Action Golden Era Podcast. Yanni, well done, my friend. You're in there. You got it right. I'd like to know how you know it was Yun Biao as well. Let us know, buddy. You did well. Hello, mate. Amandeep. This is at Amandeep Sahote. Sorry, mate. I'm not very good at pronunciations. It's either S or 5K, your username handle for YouTube. Well done. And we've got at Steph 51100 Reams, Reims. I know you, mate, from the Jackie Chan Appreciation Group Facebook. Thank you very much. You are indeed correct with Yun Biao. You're through to the finals, my old mate. Once I can get you scrunched up, you're going into the pumpkin bowl. Well done. Right. Next is at Armin Aga Hannon 2327. Well done, mate. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. Good answer. You're into the finals. Stick you in there. At Tony Tucker 2360. Cheers, mate. Really appreciate your comment. Taking the time to watch the video. You are indeed correct with Yun Biao. Well done. And hello, Cole. How you doing, fella? Cole Playford at Cole Playford 7345. Well done, mate. You followed the trend. You've all got it. Yun Biao. You go into the bowl. At D_Shiraz. Hello, mate. How are you doing? I hope you're well as well. Good to see you taking part on this competition. Know your stuff. Yun Biao. Well done. And last but not least, Steve. Well done, mate. At Butcher. Again, mate, I'm not too sure how your surname is pronounced. Butcher, I'm going to go with, like kombucha. 1973. Well done, fella. You're going into the old glass jar. Right, you ready, Chris?
Yep.
We're going to give these a little shake.
Shake.
Yeah, make sure it's, a bit of a... Oh dear, Jackie's hand's coming off. See, in the spirit of fairness.
Yep. Let me just move this up for a bit.
Right, we're going in.
Oh,
hang on a second.
One just fell out.
Come on, one jumped out.
Oh.
One done a stunt. Hang on.
I'll do this.
Yeah.
So it's clear. I haven't got anything
Right,
on my
hands
sleeve.
going in. Take your time, mate. Don't rush this stuff.
Here we go. Good
This
luck,
is
everyone.
Edge of the seat action.
Right, got one.
Who we got? Who's going for it?
G Shaz. So D Shaz.
Oh, D_Shiraz. Possibly, interestingly, the last person to answer in time for the deadline, I think. Well done, mate.
Well done.
You've just earned yourself an exclusive Jackie Chan Shaolin Wooden Men poster. Nice one, mate. You look after that in the collection. Keep it for many years to come. Do us a favour, fella. Send me all your details and we'll get that sorted to you in the post, mate. Thank you very much. And thank you very much, everyone, for entering. I really appreciate that. Taking the time and effort to watch the videos, pass the comments, answer the questions correctly. Really appreciate all your support. And hopefully there'll be more of this sort of stuff in videos to come. Thanks very much, guys.
Cheers.
Take care.
Bye.
Before we go, I'm going to show you one thing that I forgot to show you earlier. And I cannot end this video without you seeing these, because nothing says the 1990s more than... Ah, yeah. Look at them. Jackie Chan, Reebok, Insta Fury Pump trainers. These are the daddies. Have a look at them. Look, you got Jackie on the tongue of the trainer. You've got the Jackie Chan logo on the back. Reebok. These are decent. quality trainers. I couldn't end the episode of the college years without digging out the old Jackie Chan Reeboks. Wicked.
I just want to say a big thank you for joining me in the attic and sharing these memories. Being a lifelong Jackie Chan fan spawns many eras of memories. If this era means as much to you as it does to me, let me know in the comments. Big shout out to Chris from Melbourne Picture House for visiting the attic. And don't forget, if any of this content tickles your old taste buds, please be sure to smash that old subscribe button like it's a low way baddie. Over and out.